Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be walking you through a sales order automation or a purchase order automation. So I'm going to start off with this notional architecture, give you, an end-to-end what it's going to look like, and then I'm going to bring you into um, an end-to-end use of it, seeing it going through like a happy path where, no errors happen, everything is clean, it doesn't need to have a manager look at it or an approver look at it. And then we're going to go and we're going to try to hit every single error that could be possibly caused. There's a compliance issue, there's not enough quantity, the price is really high, things like that. And we're going to see all these users that have to come in here and accept these choices. And in the end, we're going to see that all of these orders get created in our ERP system. So I'm going to walk you through that really quickly. So we have our customer Liz, who's going to be purchasing, a couple tablets through a customer portal. In this case, we're going to be doing an AT&T customer portal. But our customer can also choose to do it through order document. So what we're doing there is we're simulating OCR. So we have a document and we have the XML file that would be read off of that document, and we're able to submit that. And we also have the option of hitting an API. So whether you want your own portal to send that information into these people's the AT&T backend, they can do that by using their own API to send that information. And what we do is we do some data validation. So what that looks like is, for our customer portal, that information actually gets pre-filled. But let's say you're doing some OCR, or you're hitting it with an API. Maybe you spelled something wrong. Maybe something is incorrect there. We're going to validate that makes sense, validate that all the fields are correct, and then we're going to continue going through. Now, if that's wrong, we're going to tell you that that's wrong. We're going to send an email back to the customer and let them know, hey, something's up with that. Then from there, we're going to do some more checking. So first, we're kind of doing that data validation. Then we're going to do things like compliance checking. We're going to make sure that if it costs more than $5,000 and the person has a credit of X or Y, then we might do some types of different routings of who's going to see what kind of information and what decisions need to be made. So that's what's going to happen there. We're going to see, this is all happening in the second use case where something goes wrong. We're going to see Mark, our order manager, and he is going to make some decisions based on what he sees, and Casey as well, and they're only going to be getting the information that's needed for them. Now, one of the more powerful things of this process automation of the integration cloud is that maybe your IT is looking at the integration cloud to build these things out, but these users, this order manager, the order approver, Liz, they don't have to actually come into the integration cloud to see any of this. All of this is actually going to be embedded in other things. So Mark, who maybe uses, Sales Cloud, he's going to be able to go into Sales Cloud and see that these tasks, this approve or deny, they're going to pop up in his Sales Cloud application, an application he already uses all the time. And Casey, also, she can do that. This also are all going to be populated in their emails. You can have this populated with your email. You can approve, reject right from your email. You don't have to come into this application. You don't have to log in, use single sign-on, anything like that. So really just makes it easy, makes the process more quick. Really is going to speed up the process. And not only that, developing the process, which I'll show you at the end with a more technical view, that is what's going to be, it's going to let you develop this really quickly. So overall, this is just going to speed up all business processes going on here. Here we have the customer portal site for AT&T, and what we're going to do here is, this is just to simulate that this form and this process can be started from really anywhere. I mean, we chose to embed it in this kind of customer-facing portal, but you can also embed this form in any SaaS application that you may be using. But what we're going to do here is we have actually pre-filled all of these things from a database. So our buying party name, let's say we're part of some big business, and we have two kind of different buying parties within our company, right? So we've already logged in, and we chose Pinnacle Technologies. We're then going to choose some of our Incoterms and payment terms, and based on some of this logic, we're going to have decisions be made. And as you see, there's some form validation that can already be built in, right? So this date is too far back, so we can actually build some of that in to here as well. And we're going to choose an inventory item. So we're going to buy, let's say, 15 tablets here from AT&T. And that's our form here. And this is all pre-filled. You can go ahead and you can, click this and delete it if you'd like. Pretty customizable. And this was all built with just drag and drop. So we just drag and drop these fields on here, and then you can customize them hitting APIs and getting information. So we're going to submit that. So we see this order here was submitted, and this is actually the happy path. So what this is going to do is this is going to go straight into our ERP. So let's go ahead into there, and let's look at our manage orders. And we're going to see that we have 15 tablets ordered. Oh, that's not it. I'm going to refresh this. We're in the middle of what? Oh, this is a bad video, but we'll cut this part out. As you see, we have 15 here of this quantity. So, and we're actually able to see that this email popped up saying that the order was created. Fully customized email, and we can see that this number 90415 here actually is the same as what's in here, right? So this is our order 90415. We're going to see right up here. So that was the happy path where everything went well, and now we're going to show you the unhappy path where everything goes wrong. So here we have our our Incoterms. We're going to say we want net 90 because for net 90 you actually want they need to have a certain amount of credit as a company because we're letting them pay it over that 90 days, right? So we're going to do that. We're also going to choose a ton of tablets, way more than they have in stock. We're going to do 10,000 of them. And we're also going to choose some laser printers. And we're choosing laser printers because I know that they need to be sent from some country to another country that is going to cause some compliance issues. So we're going to submit that, and now we're going to see all of the issues that pop up. So first of all, we are going to be getting an email in our inbox here. Let me go ahead and sync that. All right, and we see that we have a quantity exception here. And not only that, but we're actually going to be able to see that in that sales cloud that I talked to you about earlier during the notional architecture, right? So we're going to go into our sales cloud here, go into our product tasks, just refresh that, and here we have it, right? Our quantity exception issue. And from within here, you can actually look through this form, and you can see this issue pop up right here. Quantity, we only have 300 on hand, but we have 10,000 ordered. So, it gives you that visibility, lets you make quick decisions. And the user here can either approve or reject. They can also, add comments, and I'll show you what this history does as well. So first, we're going to approve. And then we're going to refresh here. We're going to get 2 more tasks, and I'm going to be getting 2 more emails as well. And from within here, we're going to actually be able to, again, see this here. We're going to see what the issues are. So site US to site Israel, site Malaysia to site Israel. So we're able to see there might be an issue. See, those are the 2 emails we're looking for. And here we can go into our history, right? We can see, this person approved it on this time. We can see if I had any attachments, which I don't, but you can add documents to this kind of thing and see it move throughout the process with your data and a little bit more information on that as well. So again, what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and approve that. All right, and then we have this last approving to be done also by this user. And let's go ahead and approve that through our email here. So I believe that we have the trade compliance as one we just did. So here we have the finance exception. So we're going to approve that, and we're good to go. And this link here will take you right inside of the integration cloud, but to see the tasks, but we don't need to be doing that. So there we go. I should refresh this, and we should not have any tasks here. And that's the whole thing. And now we're actually going to go back to our ERP and see that that was created. So let's go ahead and do that. Done here. We're going to hit reset to refresh this all. Design 0416. I wonder if that's 10,000. Yeah, here we go. 10,000 quantity here and 5 for the laser printer. So that's what the process looks like from a user-to-user perspective. As you've seen, you don't have to come into the integration cloud. You don't have to do anything that you wouldn't do, that these users wouldn't do on their normal daily lives, right? They're already coming into Sales Cloud every day to check on the things. They're already getting their emails. They're already checking their emails. So, it really makes all of that really easy. It speeds up the process really nicely. All right, so here we're going to see that document start. So what that's going to look like is I'm going to go ahead into this folder. I'm going to click on this TIFF file. So what this TIFF file is, it's the image. It's the actual PDF of the information that's going to be going in. But what we've done here is we've simulated that OCR has already happened. So we've simulated the XML data that's been pulled from this TIFF file, but we're able to just go in here and just run this API with the information from that Excel and run that whole process that we've already just seen. And we'll see that we actually are going to be getting another order into our ERP cloud. So let's go ahead and open up that and reset this, and we're going to see pretty soon. Oh, done. All right, we should see in a second here. I'm not sure what just happened. Let's get back to our business here, order management. We're going to see here that another order has been put in. As you see, this last one was 1,752, and here we have 90417 with a much smaller price of only 20. So that's actually coming right from our document start. And lastly, we're going to have this Postman call. So let's go ahead and open up Postman. And you're going to see that we're actually able to call this with that third source, which is an API. So what we're using Postman for is to just kind of represent, any kind of backend or system that you have to call APIs, whether that's, your code or your software that you're using that calls APIs. Maybe it's SOA, whatever it is. And we're just going to have it be that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to hit this create sales order API. We're going to hit send, and we should be getting back some information here on the order. So here we have instance, that's the order instance in case you want to do some backtracking, and we have our to see what's happened. And we're going to be able to go into our ERP again here for the last time and see that this last order has also worked. So let's reset this. Here we go, 90418, also 20. So there you go. So that's the two of those, and that's all of the inputs we get. So now we're going to be diving into the back end of how this is all built. So let's go ahead and get into our integration cloud. So for our integration cloud here, I'm going to start off by showing you the integration aspect. There's also a process aspect. And if there's time, we're going to do a visual builder aspect as well. I'll also be showing you how you can monitor all of these tasks, all of this data flow, and just the flow of information so that you can get more information about your business and more data from your business. So we're going to start with the integration side of things. So there are three parts of creating an integration, and I'm going to take you through those three parts, and I can kind of show you one of those integrations that we've actually built that we use to do some validation for the process order that we did. So we'll start with the connection. So the first part of creating a integration is creating the connection. So first it's the connection, then it's the integration itself. And in the integration, you're going to see that we use drag and drop functionality to do super productive creating of data flows between different applications, between different data sources, between databases maybe, between SaaS apps maybe. So really powerful stuff. I don't know why it's giving me this issue here. Give me a second. We're just going to try this out in an incognito tab. So for the connections, what we're going to do is first I'm going to show you just how to create one. I'm not actually going to fully create one. I'm just going to show you the kind of different tools and whatnot you might need. And then from there, I will use an already created connection, put that into my integration, and we'll get started. All right, so let's go up into our connections here. All right, here we go. And as you see on this create list here, we're actually going to get a bunch of different connectors, right? These are a bunch of SaaS apps, on-prem apps. We have technology adapters like REST, SOAP. We have things like MailChimp and Twilio to do more social kind of applications. We also have things like NetSuite, and then we have different database connectors. So we also support things like Salesforce and Workday, so both Oracle SaaS and external SaaS. I'm going to show you what it looks like to create, let's create a JDE so we can see exactly what that looks like, because I want you guys to see how you can also connect this on-prem as well. So let's do a test JDE, all right? 1, 2, 3. Really creative name. So just kind of the information, this is pretty standard. There's about 2 or 3 things you ever really need to fill out in this. So here we need to fill out this WSDL URL. So that's going to give us that connection to the JDE. And from there, all you need is your username and your password and some environment information. And that's going to be able to create your connection. So, and in here, you're actually going to be able to see what is actually necessary and what's not. So here, in this case, all of these are starred. You need all of these. But in some cases, you know, it might need, some things are extra, some things are whatever. So, and here, if you're doing an on-prem version, you can use an agent. And I can show you guys an agent, a little bit about agents as well right now. So it's that easy to create a connection. And what's really powerful about these connections, rather than just, you know, hitting them with their APIs, is that it actually exposes externally all the different functions that you can do with JDE. And it exposes externally all the different fields that you would need to pass into JDE to do those specific functions. So really, it just, you know, it narrows down the information that you need to know to exactly what you need to know. Instead of having all of these different, you know, things you have to read, you have to look up exactly how you want to set up your REST or WSDL payloads. This really provides that super simply for you. So from here, I'll show you those agents, as I said. So what one of these agents is, what you do is you download it here. You know, you click here and you download. And what that's going to do is it's going to create an agent. And what you can do with that agent is you put it onto the same server as your database or your on-prem app that you're using. And what it does is it sends out packages to the integration cloud until, you know, the integration cloud says, hey, I got one of those packages. And then it creates a connection between the integration cloud and your agent for you to send information between the two. So that's a really safe way. I'm not going to get too into the you know, security behind it, but it's pretty approved by most security teams, if not all of them. So here we're going to get, so that's the connection. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to build you an integration from scratch, and we can see why it is so easy and why people are raving about it all over the world. So here we go. App-driven orchestration. So there we actually see a scheduled orchestration as well. And what that means is that's going to be a batch kind of system. So if you need this thing to run every couple of minutes, every couple of hours, every couple of days, once a week, once a month, that's exactly what that's for. So for that, more of that, you know, bulk data movement between your applications. So we're going to call this test integration 1, 2, 3. Again, really, I'll put a space at the end there. All right, great. So to start off, this is our canvas. You know, you can zoom in and out here. Maybe a little too small. And, you know, you can reset your positioning in case you got lost in here. But I'm going to start off with this, and this is called our trigger. So actually, if you noticed when I was creating the connector, it had that option of trigger and invoke. Some just have invoke, some just have trigger. And what that means is that specific apps and specific connectors allow you to initiate the integration. They expose something. Maybe, you know, you want to use your EBS on-prem. If something gets added to your EBS, you want to kick off, add something to your HCM SaaS application. So you're able to do that and treat your EBS as a trigger. What I'm going to use here as a trigger is just a simple REST interface. I'm just going to use this as a post so that we can see some mappings being done. So let's go ahead and call this request. We'll just call this request as well. So this is the end of our URI for the API itself. And we're going to do a post. And what that means is we're going to add a payload. So what that means is the information we want sent into this REST endpoint, and we want it to also return a response. And here we're going to use a JSON sample. You can also use things like XML and whatnot for the information that's going to be passing through. Here we're just going to say request 1. For these, so these represent the different parameters that we may be using, and request 2. And we're going to say, you know, this is chicken and this is a cow. So what we're doing here is we're just modeling what our REST payload can look like. So it doesn't actually fill this information with chicken or cow, but it just sets it up so that we'll see request 1, request 2, and we can pass it whatever information we like. And then we're going to go ahead and make another JSON sample, and here we are going to do this for the response, and we'll just call this response. Nothing too flashy here. Next and done. So that's how easy that is. So now we have our REST adapter pulling in information pushing out information. And here we are going to, we can use really anything here. I don't want to mess with anyone's JDE, but I'll just show you what it looks like. So this is our test JDE. So as you see, it has all these different things that you can do for your JDE, right? So these are all the different functionalities that you have with JDE from our adapter. So if we hit next, and then from here, we actually see that this is all the different things within that procurement manager that you have the ability to do. So again, you don't have to, find all this information out externally. It just provides that for you. So it's as simple as that, and the adapter is done. The connection to JD Edwards is done. And once that's fully created, you're going to get one of these maps popped up. So this map existed for the request to respond with the REST interface that we created here. But this mapper is specifically from that REST endpoint to this JDE. And again, I mean, if we had something above this JDE, like a second JDE or an HCM, you would see here, this is the request wrapper, you would see another thing here that says, that database or that specific software. And what we're going to do, we're not actually going to do any of these mappings, but you can see how easy it is to, send in this information here. Now what I'm going to do, because I don't want to add this, I don't want to add a chicken and a cow to JDE or any information to this JDE, I'm going to delete this. And instead what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and map this response here. And we can actually, what I'm going to do here is show you that you can how easy it is to transform your data as well. So here we're going to create this as a target node so we can pass some information in. And I'm going to create concat, so I'm going to add two different things here. And then all I have to do here is just drag and drop one, chicken, right? And I can say it is better than the, and then I'm going to just go ahead and put a comma here and add a cow. That's it, right? So now we're going to see that the first thing is better than the second thing. And I'm saying chicken and cow here, but again, I'm going to show you that can really be anything. So let's set that up. What we're going to do here is we're going to do tracking. And I'll show you why we're showing tracking here as well. So with tracking, we're able to put, our request to here. And we're going to be able to verify when we have all these APIs and all these things being called, you want to see exactly which payload is being sent in. So you're able to choose one of your parameters, one of your pieces of data that's going through that integration, and use that for your tracking to see the information that's going through. So we're going to go ahead and activate this. And we're going to include the payload here. So what that allows us to do is some more, ingrained debugging that I'm going to show you through our tracking system. All right, so let's go ahead and activate this, and let's pull up Postman again. So here, which one? We don't need this one. So what we're going to do here is we want a post, we want a body, and here we're going to get rid of this body. And this will provide us here this metadata link. So this is the API endpoint. So all you got to do is go into Postman, put that in there, and then we want the body that we're going to be sending. And here you can see that this was the sample that I used, right? And I'm going to show you that, if I hit send here, we're going to say that, but we can also do 1 is better than 2, right? Chicken is better than the cow, 1 is better than the 2. As you see, you can kind of pass in that information any way you'd like. So that is the integration and the connections. And now I'm going to show you the tracking and the monitoring. So what this allows you to do, I'm going to not choose that one because that was pretty simple. I want to show you something a little bit more complicated and how you can see the data flowing from point A to point B to point C to point D, right? So here, let's choose this one because there's an error, and we can actually see what it is that's causing that error. So as you see, this is a specific data flow, and what we're going to do here is we're going to go and view the activity stream. So here we're going to be able to see the payload, we're going to see the information, and we're going to see, what happens. So here we're able to see this payload, right? This is the information that was trying to get in. This is exactly what was received from the request event trigger, right? So that's the initial trigger there at the top. We're able to see this come in, and we're able to see what is causing the issues. So that just provides a lot of, and you're able to see, why it failed as well here. Let's go take a look at that. So, and of course you're able to see, failed 11 minutes ago. So let's go ahead and drag on in here. And let's take a look at this error. All right, so it gives you this, failed authentication. So it's having some issue with the authentication. So you're able to see that right away. just by clicking on this, hazard sign right there. And this type of monitoring, it exists in the integration. It also exists in the process. So next I'm going to go through the process, and I'm going to show you how we can do the monitoring for that as well and see how data flows throughout that. So, all right, so from here, we're going to hop back into our processes. So from here, as I said, we're going to do process, and then we're going to go ahead and do a deeper dive into the granularity of the data that we can get through there. So we're going to take a look at the process that we did for this demo. It's going to be called sales order management, something like that. Yeah, here we go. And yeah, I'm gonna walk you through it. There's a lot of steps, but I don't want it to seem over cumbersome. We're actually able to design it out, map it out within 20-30 minutes, and then of course you had to add all the data and all the specifics. But it's a great tool for just mapping out those business processes in the first place. You go and add the data later, and it really speeds up the process. Really quick to build, makes your business more productive, and it feels productive just making it. So. Yeah, that's gonna load in here. Likes to be slow sometimes when I have an audience. All right, here it is, loading up. And I see some color changing. So with process automation, what you really want to do is you want to get the business use case as as specific as you can. And that's just going to lead you to building out something super simple. So here we're going to see these 3 entrance points right here, 1, 2, 3. As I said before, we have the the customer start with the customer portal. We have that API start that we saw through Postman. And we have that document start that we saw through our CEC, where we used the TIFF file, but then it went back and grabbed the XML for that file. And before we get too into this, I'm going to just show you a little bit of the tools that are within here. So I'm going to get into edit mode so that you can really see what it is I'm doing. And so I could change things if you want to see the changes. And on the right side here, I'm going to show you kind of so you can get an idea of what the different images mean that you see. So right now it's just a bunch of boxes, right? But if you see anything green, it means that there's a human task there. If you see anything yellow or blue, the system is doing it for us. Including some of those blue things are also integrations, as we saw before. So these are all the integrations that I put in here. So we made that integration to hit JDE or return the cow and the chicken. So all you'd have to do is create that, and you just have to drag it onto this blue line, and you're going to get all the exposed information. You're going to get a very similar mapper as to what we saw in the integration cloud. So I can actually show you for this what that looks like. So if I do open data association, right? So what we're going to get here is we're going to get the data for the inputs here on the right. So this is what it's looking for in the integration. And this is the information that we have coming in from the different inputs, from the API and whatnot. So what we did is we took that information from the API and the customer start and the document start, and we mapped them to a single data object within our sales order here, so that we didn't have to have all 3 of these going through the same processes. We're able to map those to the same object and have that object move through here and check its data throughout the flow. And then we have this here. So these little white boxes are gateways. So we're able to choose inclusive or exclusive, and we're going to see that these are exclusive gateways. So is the order valid? We validate the order through an integration here. Is it valid? If yes, we're going to continue on, and if not, it's going to send an email over here to that user, right? So here's that email. And then we're going to check a quantity exception. If there's a quantity exception, we don't have that much, then we're going to get this user involved, as we saw. They're going to either approve or reject it. And then I'm going to bring you over here. We're going to get that credit rating through an integration. And then we're going to have a decision model here. And what's cool about these decision models is you're able to put in a bunch of information. You can throw a bunch of information in it, throw a bunch of different kind of decision makings to do. It could take into account the credit rating, the weather outside, all these different things, and with that, spew out the information that would be correct for that scenario or for that situation. So that's what we used with all these different validations and all these checks to make sure that it's meeting the points I want it to. So we're checking things like their credit rating and which payment terms they did to see if we need some type of finance exception, or we check to see the country it came from and where it went to do this trade compliance exception. And all these grayed out boxes here, that is for Insight. So Insight is actually a tool that is coming out within the next little while. And what that does is it takes all this metadata from our process. We're able to see exactly what step it's on. We're able to see exactly what step it sits on for too long. Maybe it sits, and maybe it has the specific data flowing in here that's unexpected. We're able to drill in deeper. So what that's going to allow you to do is just really drill in deep here, and you're going to be able to put insight into your integrations as well. So it's going to be an overall end-to-end visibility of that data in a super, super granular way with some nice charts and graphs to top it off that really let you have insight into your own business. Hence the word insight. Then we're going to go back in here and we're going to see that we're going to either create the ERP order if everything goes right, everything was approved, and if not, then we're going to come over here and we're going to get a rejection email right to our email. So for us, all we've seen today is these created order emails because I didn't reject any of them because I'm a nice guy. So that's that for the process. If you guys want to see what a decision model looks like, I'll just do a quick little peek into here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do some tracking on the process, and we can call it a wrap. So let's get into our decision model here. So there's a few different tools within the decision modeling. You can create some functions. You can create if-else statements. So as you see here, we have a function. These here, some nice if statements. And then here we have what's called a decision table. So it takes different things into account here, and based on that, has some type of output coming out with specific values that you want it to be, so that on the other end you're able to pull the correct information. So that's pretty much that as far as decisions go and process. And now let's go ahead and take a little deeper dive into the tracking, right? So let's go ahead and go into my tasks or workspace. So the workspace here, another note, and with the workspace, we're actually able to see all those tasks that we embedded in the email and in the Sales Cloud. So you're able to see them here as well in case you want to see that information, or if you want to actually come and use this as the portal. We're also going to get lots of different dashboards and whatnot, and we can actually see the apps so we can see different things about our processes and whatnot, and we can actually see these apps. So this sales order right here, that's actually the app that we embedded, that front end that we embedded into our CNC environment. You can actually get it here as well. So all of this is actually virtually visible within the workspace as well. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to get a little more granular. So we're going to go check mark this completed, because we've completed all of these process orders. So here we go, order process, right? And when we see that number came up when they finished their order, this is that order that it's from. It's like the ID for the order. So here we can follow so this was the API start that we got. We're able to follow the chain of data that happened here and get from point A all the way to point B and see how it did that, see the path it took. And if you go in here, you can actually go into this tree view. And again, here we saw that history before. Here it is again. And here we can go into this tree view. And within the tree view, we can actually look at the payloads. So we can go in here, look at this, and see the payload that went into this activity. So really granular data getting down in here. So you can see the tracking. And when something fails, you can see exactly what failed. So maybe an integration that you had broke. So you can see, you can come in here and say, oh, this integration broke. And then you can go into your integration tracking and see why that integration broke and go ahead and fix that. So everything really works super well together. And error fixing should be something that is sped up immensely through this process and through our integration cloud in general. So that's it for integration and process. And I hope you all learned a lot and enjoyed. So thank you very much.